After countless enemies and epic battles, we're finally finished in Dark Souls 2. Here's the twist. I actually had more fun than I expected. Going into this part of the game, I thought I would have died more and have a much harder time. I hope you're doing well, and let's finish this game. We start this video off where the last video concluded. Drangleic Castle. There was a room where I needed to kill these statue enemies to progress further. This room isn't that hard at all, and eventually I defeated an enemy to open one of the doors to progress. A chest in the middle of the room? Doesn't this look suspicious? Whenever you open the chest, these masks fire poison arrows at you. At least it wasn't Black Gulch tier of poison statues. I found myself fighting 3 night enemies right after. It wasn't even that bad as I took my time and tried to pick off the one with the lowest health. In cases like this, it's really fun to fight enemies that don't try to attack you all at once. While talking to the queen, an invader wanted to duel while the queen was still talking. I thought this was kind of funny as the queen sees 2 undead fighting and doesn't even care to stop mid-dialogue or anything. I defeated this invader and saw a fog wall for the boss. I only had 1 class of Essus to complete this fight. The boss fight in question was the Dragon Rider duo. I enjoyed this fight as it wasn't necessarily hard, but I did get hit a few times. One of the Dragon Riders is always on you, and the second one uses arrows from afar. I was surprised I didn't die at all in this fight. One of the Dragon Riders went down, and the second one fell to the same result. I also really like the Dragon Rider armor that they wear. Afterwards, I talked to this NPC and went back to the statue room to get the Farum set. This armor set is actually on the cover of Dark Souls 2. But also, this armor set has to be one of my favorite in the whole Souls series. When I think of the word knight, something like this armor pops into my head. I collected the key to the King's Passage and took this armor set to the Looking Glass Knight, another boss that I really like fighting, as the atmosphere is really great. The knight himself was fun as always, but later in the fight, he can summon a friend to help. I guess he knows the power of friendship too. He fell very shortly after and we reached one of the worst Souls areas, Shrine of Amanda. I also got this little shot from this area which looks really nice. Everywhere I went about this area, people hate this area. The magic spamming and the enemies you can barely see in the water make this area quite tricky. But how did I do with this area? I did a lot better than I expected. I took things a little slow and only died a few times. I did try to run past at one point. Why do I think this will work? Other than that, this area was actually going to be easy this time around. I even used a bow and arrow to lure out some enemies to fight them without magic being fired at me. And the walk to the boss was also very easy. Well, what about the boss itself? The Demon of Song was pretty easy also, until I got one-shotted in the fight. This was completely unexpected as I didn't think this would be a problem. However, this boss is very easy and his attacks are really slow and pretty telegraphable. While I finish up this fight, if you're enjoying the content so far, consider commenting below and subscribing to the channel. We are very close to 150 subscribers and your support would mean a lot. After finishing the frog, we reached Undead Crypt. This area was the only area that gave me trouble. There were these knight shield enemies that blocked my path. I kindly asked them to move and they did. The trouble in this area were these enemies right here. There was way too many of them for me to deal with. I was literally cornered and died 3 times to these enemies. It's not all bad though, as I finally found the switch to open the shortcut. On my way to the boss, there was a group of enemies I just ran past. This is one of the few times it actually worked. I met up with Velstadt, which was another boss that I really liked. Similar to the Smelter Demon, his attacks were fun to dodge. He does have some delayed attack with his normal attacks. Velstadt's phase 1 wasn't an issue at all. There wasn't anything bad going on. Phase 2 only adds some ranged attacks, but it's mostly the same. After playing this game for a bit, people are right about the bosses. Most of them in this game are coated with armor. Pursuer, Smelter Demon, and even Velstadt are just some of the bosses that have armor. I defeated Velstadt and claim the King's Ring to progress into another area. That area in question is Aidia's Keep. I was confused as to why people say you shouldn't pull this lever, but I did it anyways. I just talked to this NPC. Maybe this NPC had a quest line and pulling the lever failed it. I found some looking glass enemies that didn't stagger easily with the rapier. Turns out that the rapier actually does less poise damage than the katana. I thought it was the opposite, as nearly every NPC staggered to the rapier but not the katana. I found myself getting crushed by hippo giants. You think this happened once? Well, it happened again and I saw a fog wall for a boss. This time I was trying to see if there was a bonfire nearby. The sorcerer here finished me before I could find it. After one boring run back later, we reached the guardian dragon. This fight isn't that bad if you know what you're doing. At some points it was really hard to hit him because of how long he remains in the air. Slowly but surely the dragon went down and I reached Dragon Aerie. I did that mechanic that no other FromSoft game had and ran all the way to the ancient dragon. This area can be annoying to run through sometimes. I actually did it on my first attempt and talked to the ancient dragon. The ancient dragon can be fought like a normal boss. Why would you want to fight this boss? If it's for the souls, then I get it. You should just get the item and get out, which is what I did. I returned to the Forest of the Fallen Giants to enter a dream and fight the Giant Lord. There's just a whole war going on with catapults launching rocks that have a rather smaller hitbox than the game makes it out to be. The Giant Lord was at the end of this bridge, and once again, it's another easy boss. His attacks sometimes missed entirely and the fight overall was easy. That damage he does to me was really massive. I don't have much to say other than it's kind of like the last giant, but he found a great sword and upgraded his stats. I returned to the normal world and put an invader to death. For the last area, we have Throne of Want. I want to say that this run back was very boring to the boss. For the fun of it, I summoned both the NPCs for this fight. You don't really see this often, and it's always enjoyable to watch. With the dream team assembled, we face the Throne Watcher and Defender. I don't like this fight as both of them can hit you at completely different times, which you can take unavoidable damage. The NPCs don't do a lot of damage to either boss, and even I don't do that much damage. While both of the NPCs were dead, I soon followed them. I tried 2 attempts without the NPC summons. I could barely get one of them to half health. This could be a skill issue, but this is the Souls game I play the least, so cut me some slack. I called up the Dream Team again to see if that favored better. It was a lot better than last time. Here's the thing with this fight. When you deplete the health of the first one, you have 20 seconds to kill the second one. They will revive each other if you fail to kill the second one. I caught the defender not defended himself and achieving victory. Well, we still have one more boss. Queen Nashandra is the final boss of Dark Souls 2. I died to her laser attack, which tells that I probably do have a skill issue. I proceeded to die 2 more times. One of the deaths was funny as I just fell off without realizing I was that close. The Dream Team came in clutch once again, and Dark Souls 2 is finished. The Dark Souls 2 ending is kind of like Elden Ring's Elden Lord ending, just wanted to point that out. And finishing Dark Souls 2 was not only fun, but really satisfying. I may have summoned at the end, but what matters is that I had fun with it. I can't wait to discuss Dark Souls 2 in the next video. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. It helps the algorithm promote this video to others, and hopefully they like it. I hope you have a wonderful and safe day, and I'll see you later.